Hello girls, happy Friday. I am so happy it's Friday. I know my students said that they thought it was a fast week, but I don't know. I didn't quite feel like it was a fast week. We just had a lot of bumps this week, but we are closing up. We're heading to the weekend. If you happen to be a person who has the weekend off, happy Friday to you. And if not, have a happy Friday no matter what. I'm trying. My new goal is that every day of the week, so every day, feel like Friday, to make it like a thought process for myself. So happy Friday, welcome. We're on our last day of fear, of talking about fear, of our free, if you want to say workshop, not really a workshop, it's not that interactive, but I don't know, keep moving, sorry, my chair is like rolling, but it was free 5-day information, posts, audio posts. That was something new I tried. It worked and then it didn't work and then it worked again. But it's been a good week. So hopefully that you had learned something. And I'm going to share with you on our last day something that I learned myself. So I'm just waiting a few minutes to get started, but now I'm definitely going to get started and jump right in there. So I know this week alone I have new girls, and I know we are women and we're ladies, but girls just sound so much more youthful. So I want to be called a girl, even though that's the sign for women. So welcome. Who I am, my name is Jennifer Cupcho. My sign name is Jen, or Jennifer. I am a spiritual mindset coach. I am a teacher. I am a forever learner. Sorry about that. Those of you who are taking my ASL class, I know that that's the person ending. So, learner. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I am a busy lady, just like you guys are. But, I'm sorry, I'm looking at that, that's totally bothering me. Stick it under there. It's the end of the day, can you tell? So, why I'm here today, and actually before I actually do our last part on fear, I had cards here behind me. I chose a card for all of you lovely ladies and you beautiful souls, and I did a little prayer before I started to find the right one, whatever one that was supposed to be for you. It's making me crazy. Whatever it was for you, and I'm a little OCD, can you tell? I'm like looking at it, it's like, what is that? I want to stick it underneath something. So I chose a card for you, and I'll do that one at the end. So remind me, if you're here with me, remind me, ask me, what does the card say? Because I'm probably going to forget it because it's behind me. But I want to explain something about why I am a spiritual mindset coach. You may see a lot of things out there with spiritual life coach. I am very much the same as a life coach, except, and this is why I'm saying I'm a mindset, spiritual mindset. This might get a little deep for you, but hang in there with me for a second. And if you're here with me, it's got purpose. My husband's talking on the phone so loud. We are made perfect. We don't feel perfect as we're living many times. That's why we're here talking about fear and things that we're going through. But we are made in perfection. And our spirit, our soul, however you feel comfortable, and there is no right or wrong in naming it, but however you feel comfortable, is made in perfection. And that's what we truly are. We are a soul, we are a spirit. Maybe spirit's too hard for you, but soul might be easier. Which is funny because my ring says, hear your soul speak. And that's been years ago that I bought that, and it's my reminder. That's the part that has no fear, that is happy, that is joyful. It's our, if you want to say, our earthly mind, our thoughts. That's the part that's actually not real, as crazy as it sounds. That's the part that gets us messed up and gets us in trouble. And it's our mind and our mindset that throws off the perfection and the perfect part that we have, our soul. When we tap into our soul and we let that flow, that's when perfection comes. That's when everything feels like it just falls into line and we have no problems. Whether it's jobs that we're going for, whether it's relationships, friendships, family, finances, there are times in our life that things seem to just flow. And that's because we're more connected with our soul and less getting stuck and caught up in our thoughts. So the reason that I am a spiritual mindset coach and not call a spiritual life coach is that I'm working with the mind. I'm setting up and we're getting clear the mind, which allows the spirit to take in everything that we have been blocking, if you want to say. Happiness is around us at all times. And I don't mean like drink the Kool-Aid, crazy happiness. I mean it's there. But when we're blocking because we're listening to our mind, that's not actually the reality, then we are not allowing it in. So that's why, if you're curious, those of you who are new, why I am a spiritual mindset, not spiritual life coach. I want to be clear, and I am very clear on the distinction between our mind and our soul. And so I work with women on the mind to allow the soul to do the work. Because when we let that happen, life's great. Okay, so let me explain our last one, which is, and I named it, we have no neutral, that's the sign for it, neutral thoughts. I know it sounds a little strange, but stick with me for a minute. This was actually my, if you want to say, exercise that I did today. I'm taking a course called A Course in Miracles. Miracles? Miracles. I don't remember which is first. And it's a lot, it's kind of deep. But when I figure it out and I work on it and I bring it down to the basics, the foundation, it makes sense. So I'm going to share with you, which was not actually my plan. This was not my plan for my 5th day, but it spoke with me, and this is what I think will help. We have no neutral thoughts. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. Many times we happen to believe that we're not thinking. We're just like in a restful state, or we're just driving and we're listening to music and we're not actually thinking. That's not the case. We are thinking all the time. It never stops. So we are always thinking. So even when we think we're not thinking, we are. Don't let me lose you. For example, I actually tried this activity this morning. This was a 2-day. It was a yesterday and then a today activity for myself. And I totally feel like it's connected with our fears. So yesterday's activity was yesterday's. There's no neutral thoughts. And then today, it was that there's no neutral like objects or things in my life. And so it kind of went with yesterday. So for instance, I was driving this morning and I was listening to whatever it was on the radio. And I was looking there as a sign, like a traffic sign, and it said, slow down, something ahead. And I looked at it and I went to continue to drive by. And I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna practice my thought that there is no neutral thought. So I'm like, I saw a sign. It's neutral. I don't have a feeling about it. But that's where I went wrong. Right away, I wanted to go, I don't have a feeling about it. It has nothing to do with the feeling. So I saw the sign, and then I'm thinking, okay, well, what do I think about the sign? What is it that I can connect? What do I think about that sign? I'm like, oh, that there's traffic. I need to take my foot off the brake. I need to slow down. I don't want to hit a car. All these things were already done and in here without me actually trying to think about it. There are no neutral thoughts. Everything that we see evokes an emotion, a thought, an understanding. We just don't have to try sometimes, but it's there. And that's how we have to actually reverse a little bit, go back a little, and start to understand and to connect with what the thoughts are. Because here's the truth. Your fears do not exist without your thoughts. Emotions are not what's giving you fear. Like, you can try to stop being afraid. I don't know if you guys have tried it, but I've tried it. I lived in fear most of my life. Till about the last 3 years working on things. You can try and say, okay, I'm not going to be afraid. That doesn't really work, because it's not the emotion that's the problem. It's the thought that's controlling. This is control, but I'm like kind of controlling with the emotion. I always think of emotion being here and the thought. It's the thought that is controlling the emotion. So by just saying, okay, calm down, Jen, that doesn't do anything. You have to stop and think about, what am I thinking? What's happening up here that I can start to change my perspective, change my understanding, get rid of, doesn't fit me anymore. Whatever it is, the emotions are not going to change without changing the thought. So that's that activity today, is that there's no neutral thoughts, which I kind of thought was strange, but I've come to find out it's true. So you can give it a try, like tomorrow through your day, start thinking about whatever it is that you're seeing, whether it's an object or whatever, and repeat to yourself, say to yourself, there's no neutral objects, there's no neutral thoughts, and be specific. I mean, I'm looking right now, there's a pillow over here. It's pretty, oh, it's pink. So if I were to look at that, the first thing I'm telling myself, there's no neutral objects. Why? Because I have a thought about it. It may not have popped up, but oh, I know. That's good for laying on. That's soft. Or maybe it would be on a bed, or I might sit on it watching TV. All that is knowledge that you have, that you don't stop to think about, but it's there. So when you start to realize that you don't have anything that's neutral, everything has a connection. And it doesn't need to be overwhelming. It's freeing. It's starting to understand that you can control and change once you open up and clear away, like the fog, if you want to say, that we didn't even understand or know that we could control. So when you know that there's nothing that's neutral, everything has purpose and meaning in your head, then you become more aware of what's happening all day, when you're fearful, when you're feeling. So if you have a feeling of like anxiety, like for me now, if I have, this past week, I had a couple things that started to creep back in, and I started to feel that pressure, you know, of anxiety, and I'm like, okay, Jen, what's happening? What are you thinking about? And my first reaction wants to be nothing, I just feel anxious. No, that's not the case. That's not true. Because if we know and believe, which is true, that we have no neutral thoughts, then we can tap into what's happening. And honestly, you can't get it wrong. If it pops up and if you connect it to the feeling, then it's right. So don't get stuck and hung up like, is it the right thought? That doesn't exist. It's a thought. And if you can connect it at all, then that's something that you can clear away or work on, or dive a little deeper in figuring it out. But definitely separate the understanding of fear versus your thoughts, because the fear is not going to go away. You're not going to get rid of it trying to focus on the fear. You need to go up and focus on the thought. That is where the power is. In a good way and in a bad way. We've let that be in a bad, if you want to say. Well, you don't know what you don't know. So now it's your time to start changing. So that's pretty much it. I'm trying to see, I really, anything I wrote, I wrote some ideas and none of it's what I used. So I'm getting better at just kind of opening up and going. So you actually kind of shared in what my activity was today, which, like I said, was not my plan on sharing today, but it totally, I want you to try it. Give it a try. Obviously, if you're feeling anxiety like I had for so long, things aren't working the way that we were doing them. So it's time to try something new. And it is amazing when you start to clear away and move those blocks out. Okay, so our last thing, I promise, and I didn't forget. Okay. All right, so those of you, I know many of you have the cards from The Universe Has Your Back. And so today I said, well, you know what? I pick one for myself every day. And funny, I picked 4 times the same card this week. That's after shuffling them and shuffling them and shuffling them. So I'm like, all right, I got the message. But I shuffled them up, and what I picked for this talk was this one. It's really pretty. I don't know if you can see it. I know it's backwards, and it says, I find a deeper meaning and a personal growth amid the discomfort. And I'm saying, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with that? How is that going to go with fear? Well, then I got my answer. I don't know how you think, but I just actually realized in the last 2 days a belief that I've had my whole life that's kind of got rocked and changed, and maybe I'll be doing the same thing for you. And I'm still working my way through it. I always had the belief, and I've always heard, you can't have good without bad. You can't feel happy without sadness. You can't be, calm without anger. Whatever it is, you have to have both extremes. And in the last 2 days, I've done some reading that's kind of shaken me up to introduce a possible thought that that's not true. Do I have to accept it? I don't know, but I do like the idea a lot. And the purpose is that, yeah, we'll have the sadness, and yeah, we'll have the anger. Those are all the things that when we're not in alignment with ourselves, and those are our warnings to pay attention to things that we might need to deal with. So is it meant for us to be upset and sad and angry? No. That's my new thing that I've been faced with, and I'm like, how does this fit with me? And I'll let you know. I'm working with it. I do like it, and it's definitely different than the belief I've had my whole life. But I feel like I'm getting closer to, I kind of believe that. I believe in God, I believe in the universe, I believe in love, and that no God that I believe in would want us to suffer. Patients suffer. That's patients to suffer. So I'm kind of like working with the new one. But this specifically is that and I have to agree with this, my most growth and changing and learning has come from times of my deepest uncomfortable situations, discomfort, pain. So do I think I need pain to change and grow? No. I don't believe it's given to me like, you need pain. But I believe it's when I pay attention to what's happening, whether it's my body, whether it's an illness, whatever it is, pain, grief, that is the time where I pay attention. I'm not in alignment. Things aren't coming together. And I'm saying, what am I going to do about this? I need to make a change. I need to fix. I hate the word fix, but to grow through this. I don't want to stay in it. So that's what I'm getting. And that's actually this whole week when we've been talking about fear. Fear is discomfort, is not feeling comfortable. When I've had anxiety attacks or panic attacks, I felt like literally I was crawling out of my skin. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I felt like I needed to jump out of my body. So any of you have experienced and understand what I'm saying. Like you just feel like you don't even fit. And that makes sense. You don't. We're not fitting in our bodies. We are so out of alignment. Our soul is not feeling comfortable in our body. So that's what this last one is. I find a deeper meaning, a personal growth in the discomfort. Doesn't mean we have to stay there, but it means that we need to pay attention. That's our warning, to start then thinking about that discomfort of that fear or the anxiety and move up to the thought. Remember that there's no neutral thoughts and start to figure them out and pay attention to those thoughts that we can change and then release the blocks and the fear. Okay? So that is, nobody's on here. I feel like I'm like talking to myself today. I have no comments, but I know, God, making me crazy. I know it's Friday and you guys are all busy, but I did promise I'm actually leaving in a little while to see a good friend of mine, and I'm so excited because we're having a girls' night out. You need that. You girls need to fill your cup, whatever it is, whether it's a cup of tea, whether it's going to the movies, whether it's getting your, getting your nails done. I don't know. Do something for you that fills your cup, that makes you feel good, and then you can fight off some of these fears, and you have the strength. You have the strength to make it through. I don't want to say make it through, but to make it through. This means be successful, to feel happy. Nobody wants to live in a state that's not happy. I lived that way for a long time. I'm done. Those are old beliefs. I don't have to live not happy. And I don't have to live here. I want to live here. And that's what I'm making, I was going to say happen, happen. So, and I want that for you. So those of you who are new, I know we're finishing our fear here, but if you are curious and you want to know more about what I do as a spiritual mindset coach, I know I told you I'm making, those of you, I had posted in, oh, please, 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 if you see this, go and find the, not survey, but kind of, it's like a poll, because I'm finishing off making a couple new programs, because I know some of you want like a coaching, but not necessarily every year, every week or every 2 weeks like I do with my girls. So I'm trying to make programs I can offer you. I may attach a one coaching time with the program. I have to say, I haven't finished them yet. But if you're curious and you do want something that I'm talking about and that you feel like this is you, or I'm talking with you, or we're connecting, PM me. You don't have to put it on here, but send me a message. I have only 2. I can take on 2 new people starting this, well, November is starting soon. I can take on 2 new people. I have to be careful because I do teach full-time. I coach really full-time also, and I have to balance my family in there and myself in there. So I love when I coach you girls, it gives me back, but I do need to also remember to be careful and keep everything balanced. So I can take on 2 new girls if you are interested, or if you just want to know. Like if you contact me, and this happens a lot. I have people who contact me, ask me, and they're like, okay, I think I do, but not right now. That's the last. I don't push. This is something that's your time and you have to be ready for. And when you are, it is miraculous what ends up happening. Oh, that was the right word. All right. So have a good night. Have a happy weekend. I do miss seeing all my comments because I talk back to you girls. But this is making me crazy. Like, there's a hair here. I shouldn't do this. Oh, I pulled it out. Now I'm going to have those little ones that grow back. All right. So have a good weekend. I'm losing it. Enjoy. Do something for yourself this weekend. Okay. So take care, girls. Take care.